The Silk Road, so named because silk was the most costly commodity on the market, was a network of markets and trading hubs that spanned Asia and the Indian Ocean Basin from the eastern Mediterranean to the interior of China. Welcome back to another exciting video. Today's video is about horrific things that were normal to nomads traveling the Silk Road. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Due to the vast number of travelers traveling along the old Silk Road, intimacy was a fascinating, intricate, and nuanced cluster of encounters. Before the Han Dynasty in China officially opened its silk and other commodities trade with the West, various cultures came into touch along the route and the luxury goods were being traded. Silk had been traded for many millennia in 30 BCE. Contact between the Romans, the Han, and everyone made a vast cultural and economic exchange possible. The Silk Road has been used for more than 1,500 years, with the Mongol dynasty's rule in the 13th and 14th centuries seeing its popularity rise. Most people who traveled along the Silk Road as merchants, diplomats, tourists, and missionaries participated in a relay system rather than covering the entire distance. Thoughts about population, sexuality, and gender varied due to the vast landmass and prolonged use of the Silk Road, which was inevitably filled with these people. This wasn't a bad thing that happened. The mix of ideas that affected sexuality along the Silk Road, however, had something for everyone because there was a lot of influence and interaction that improved such methods and ideals from cat house unpaid intimacy. People often let visitors share their wives' beds. Marco Polo related a story about seeing some travelers resting at a stranger's home and being ready to let them share his bed. The host was overjoyed when a tourist showed up and asked for his wife to oversee the visitor. The host leaves home and returns after the traveler has left for their husband. It wasn't embarrassing. It was regarded as a privilege. The actions of all the males in the province were the same. Marco Polo also claimed that the Mongols were ecstatic upon learning of this conduct, but it also gave spouses a sense of shame. Roman perspectives on slavery. Intimate relationships between male masters and female slaves were frequent in the Byzantine Empire, where the distinction between workers and concubines was not always obvious. Despite the modest Byzantine disposition, the population was a chief preoccupation for many merchants who traveled the Silk Road and frequently interacted with other merchants. To live, women engaged in sex work. The empire, which served as the road's western end, was littered with cat houses. The Silk Road was first used for same-sex partnerships. The Romans had a significant impact on the western extremity. Consequently, Roman views on same-sex relationships spread throughout a portion of the Roman Empire. Male companionship has a long and illustrious past in the Mediterranean, but historians have found evidence of Mongol homosexual activity in China and Russia. There are stories about Genghis Khan, whose real name was Tenon, dozing off with other males. This does not necessarily indicate they were close friends, but it is impossible to tell. The Mongol Empire did, however, have a significant Islamic impact, which tended to view homosexuality as an inappropriate topic for polite society while tolerating interactions between people of the same gender as part of one's private life. Due to their situation, eunuchs made a significant political endeavor. After castration, eunuchs was frequently used by the late Roman and Byzantine powers and Chinese dynastic monarchs as diplomats and court employees. In any empire, a eunuch might be a desirable product for a trader. Due to its reputation as being impartial and benign, eunuchs was frequently accorded prestige and importance in social and political contexts. Similar to how they were perceived in China, eunuchs made their way into the most exclusive and highly imperial groups. Jing was Yuch, a well-known Chinese explorer who used his connections and influence to extend Chinese imperial rule along the Silk Road. The Mongols often grew close to the road. Genghis Khan's genetic code and heritage are legendary. Given the status of women as taken, it makes logical sense that he has an estimated mathematical ancestor population of over 16 million. He was alive at the moment. The population is highlighted by Genghis Khan and his carnal activities as a means of displaying power and leaving one's imprint. Marco Polo also mentioned the Khan's propensity for seducing any attractive lady. The sons of Genghis Khan and tribes from the Kuai, Khans, and Yuan dynasties also sent women. Leaders of the Mongol Empire generally did not seek out partners. Polo claimed that hundreds of this tribe's most stunning young women were brought to the Great Khan each year, who entrusted them to the care of a few older women who lived in his palace. Then, those Mazar who have been deemed beautiful, upright, and healthy are chosen to serve the emperor one at a time. 6 of these damsels alternately do him in his chamber and bed for 3 days and nights, totally submissive to his commands. After 3 days and nights, a new 6-person gang assumes control. As a result, throughout the year, maiden reliefs by 6 and 6 change every 3 days and nights. Buddhist Tundra impacted both practice and interactions. The foundation of Tantric Buddhism, a subset of Buddhism that emphasizes the path to enlightenment through ecstasy, is accepting the deity. Through the Silk Road, Tantric Buddhism spread from Tibet to China and India, and these depictions influenced the beliefs and practices of the carnal. Women were taken hostage and traded. The Silk Road was used to move women throughout Asia through coercion and diplomacy. Her story demonstrates the position of women on the Silk Road. Around the year 200, after being taken hostage, she was compelled to wed a warlord from a nomadic tribe before being rescued. She had 2 kids with the guy, and after being rescued, she lamented the loss of her wandering clan. There was Kama Sutra all over the street. At the very least, the Kama Sutra was penned. Intimate connections were emphasized as social and financial responsibilities in the 3rd or 4th century, and they provided position, examples, and advice on making love. Modern readers view it as a manual for intimate relationships. Happiness is karma. Consequently, there was also a component of the plan. Hinduism was one of the religions exchanged along the path, but it stayed in India. During the Gupta era, Hindu writing like the Kama Sutra was widely read throughout the Indian Ocean Basin. Intimacy was valued in ancient China as a natural and therapeutic medicinal necessity. Medical writings described appropriate and inappropriate sexual behaviors that remained throughout the ups and downs of the Silk Road. Men are advised on making love in the Tang Dynasty Manual, also known as the White Girl Standard. Additionally, it highlights how important the move is for the environment and public health. You, Andy, ask what will happen if one chooses not to have a close relationship. That cannot be the case. There are variations in everything in nature, including yin and yang. Humans should observe the yin and yang patterns in the same way that the seasons are. A Chinese trade route, inns along the way may have also provided women to tourists and entered into agreements with locals and authorities for services like interpretation and transit passes. According to official Turin records, women were also for sale and may have been given to men camped out along the road as part of a business transaction. Even merchants could purchase enslaved women, and the new master might abuse them. Treat, bind, sell, and keep her hostage, mal. Offer her as a gift or let him do whatever he pleases with her. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.